Hare Krishna. I welcome all the devotees, and I am deeply grateful for the opportunity that I've been given to coordinate this course. Today we will be doing the second class of the Bhakti Shastri. And before we do, we'll sing a prayer praising Srila Rupa Goswami. He wrote the Nectar of Devotion under the guidance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And all those truths have been assimilated personally by Rupa Goswami, and he wrote this. So we'll do the Sri Rupa Manjari Pada and then we can get started. Is everybody comfortable? Is everybody doing okay? Sachinandan Hari Prabhu, you're fine. Good. So this is a song that is written by Srila Narottam Das Thakur, and it praises Srila Rupa Goswami. So probably we can do the translation first and then we can do the song. Is that okay? Okay. The lotus feet of Sri Rupa Manjari are my treasure, my devotional service, and my object of worship. They give me life meaning, and they are the life of my life. They are the perfection of rasa, and they are perfection worthy of attainment. They are the very law of the Vedic scriptures for me. They are the meaning of all my fasts and penances and my silent uttering of my mantras. They are the basis of religion and activities. By the purifying process of favorable devotional service, one will attain perfection and with these two eyes be able to see. His transcendental form is shining like moonlight in my heart, and my heart therefore shines and reciprocates. In other words, the ordinary moon lights up the night and its shine illuminates other objects, but the moon of effulgence of the form of Sri Rupa Manjari shines into the heart and makes the heart also shine back into the spiritual sky. This moon shines not only in the night time, but day and night. Your absence from my vision is like a dose of strong poison, and I will suffer until the end of my life. Narottam Das Thakur says, please give me mercy, please give me your mercy and the shade of your lotus feet. Sri Rupa Manjari Pada Shai Mora Sampada Shai Mora Bhajan Pujana. Sri Rupa Manjari Pada Shai Mora Sampada Shai Mora Bhajan Pujana. Shai Mora Pranadhana Shai Mora Abharana Shai Mora Jiva Nirjivana. Shai Mora Rasho Nidhi Shai Mora Vancho Siddhi Shai Mora Vedera Dharama. Shai Brata Shai Tapa Shai Mora Mantra Japa Shai Mora Dharam Karama. अनुकूलाः बेविदिशेयि पदे होइबे सिद्धि निराखिब ए दुई नयने। अनुकूलाः बेविदिशेयि पदे होइबे सिद्धि निराखिब ए दुई नयने। সেই রূপ মাধুরী রসি প্রাণকুবলয় শশী প্রফুল্লিতা হবে নিশিদিনে। तुया आदर्शन आई गाराले जरलो देहि चिरदिन तापित जीवना। हाहा रूप करो दया देह मरे पद छाया नरोत्तम लइल शरण। हाहा रूप करो दया देह मरे पद छाया नरोत्तम लइल शरण। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा। जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा। I welcome all the devotees who just joined. Thank you so much for coming. Let's offer our Mangalacharan prayers before we start. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guroh Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhayascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Matsamo nasti papatma naparadhi cha kaschana parihare pilajjame kimbruve purushottama bhumau skalitapadanam bhumireva avalambanam tvai jata paradhanam tvameva sharanam prabho adadanastrunam danter idam yache punah punah Srimadrupa padam bhojo dhulisyam janma janmani. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for coming. So today we will be doing. So what did we do in the first class? What is the one verse that we said we have to memorize no matter what? Anya Abhilashita Shunyam. And so let's do that verse. Kindly repeat after me. Anya Abhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadhyanavritam Anukulyena Krishnanu Sheelanam Bhaktiruttama. All right. I think so somebody can recite and we can follow. At least 2 from the Prabhus and 2 from the Matas. So. Anyabhilashita shunyam
Jnana karmadhyanavritam Anukulena Krishnanu Sheelanam Bhaktiruttama
Anyabhilashita shunyam Jnana karmadhyanavritam Anukulena Krishnanu Sheelanam Bhaktiruttama
Anyabhilashita Sunyam
Anyabhilashita Shunyam
Jnana Karmadi Anavrutam
Jnana Karmadyanavritam
Anukulena Krishnanu
Anukulyena Krishnanu
Shīlanam Bhaktiruttama
Shīlanam Bhaktiruttama
Anyabhilashita Shunyam
Anyabhilashita Shunyam
Jnana Karmadi Anavratam
Jnana Karmadyanavritam
Anukulena Krishnanu
Anukulyena Krishnanu
Shīlanam Bhaktiruttama
Shīlanam Bhaktiruttama. So we discussed this particular verse last class, and we also discussed what constitutes pure devotional service. How many types or characteristics of pure devotional service? There is the primary and the secondary. What is the primary characteristics of pure devotional service to Krishna? So we said, yes, good, please. 3. Okay. You had something to say, Lauren? Lokabandhu Prabhu? Or, no, okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Manshu.
3 primary characteristics. First one was service. Second one was favorably. And then third one was Krishna.
So if you go back to that verse, we can see that, so we said Anukulyena means favorable, and Krishna means to Krishna, and Shilana is cultivation or some sort of active service. So those are the 3 characteristics. Anukulyena, naturally Anukulyena in Sanskrit means favorable. And Krishna is, we know Krishna, or at least we think we know Krishna. Because Krishna himself says, nobody knows me. In Bhagavad Gita he says, neither the hosts of the sages nor the demigods, they know me. So anyway, Krishna, and then Anushilanam. Shilanam means, Shilanam, the word Sanskrit, the word Shilanam comes from Shil, which means to cultivate. And Anushilanam means, Anu can mean 2 things. One is following the footsteps of the previous acharyas, or it can also mean continuous. Anu means continuous. So we discussed that when we have this restriction, or when we have these injunctions from the spiritual master, we have to chant 16 rounds, it is every day. Not like you chant 16 rounds in 1 year, you are done. And we'll see you next year. Annual basis. It's not like that. Every day. And then the secondary qualities or the secondary characteristics of pure devotional service we discussed was Jnana Karmadyanavritam, which means that our devotional service is not coated with a desire for knowledge or impersonal knowledge, leading to impersonal knowledge. And also it's not coated with fruitive mentality. That I'm serving God, I need to get something out of it. Otherwise I won't serve. That is fruitive mentality. And that can also mean ritualistic. Not just, some persons might not be that selfish. They might be doing a lot of rituals based on what their family members, traditions might have dictated them, and their concern is, if I don't do this, I've been doing this since childhood, and then I passed IIT and now I am so and so at a particular company, and if I stop doing that, then all my position and all thing will be gone. So when you kind of have that kind of, oh, that's why I'll serve Krishna, or that's why I do these rituals, so you shouldn't have that kind of mentality. And then Adi also we discussed means etc. Etc. is we discussed that Sankhya or Varnashrama or so on and so forth. That's all we discussed. And that was a pretty important foundational verse. And we discussed, so then the one point is that when we eat, right? Do we eat? Yes. I hope everybody eats. Prashad. Yeah, me. But when we eat, it seems we are not doing any relationship or any devotional service to Krishna per se, or it's not strictly in line with that. Or sometimes when somebody has really a medical situation that you pray to God, saying that you cure me, you make me well, then it again seems to be somewhat of a selfish desire, and we never were having Krishna, in center. So what did we discuss about that kind of situations? That do they constitute pure devotional service, or is it like against pure devotional service? Because it is said anya abhilashi ta shunyam, means all other material desire should be zero. Now when you ask Krishna to give you good health, it seems to be a materialistic desire. So the answer we discussed to that is why the word ta is used. Anyabhilashi ta shunyam. Not anyabhilashi shunyam. Means all the material desires are zero. Which means that I should not buy any clothes. If I buy clothes, which means that it is not in pure realm of pure devotional service. But, the incidental bodily necessities are different from, that's why the word ta is used. At heart, I don't desire anything else except pure devotional service to Krishna. And please understand that 99.99% of the humans in this world, they are just leading their lives dictated by the modes of material nature in accordance with their mind. I just get up in the morning, I eat whatever I want, I do whatever I want. I really am not bothered of any injunctions. The only injunctions I am bothered is, obeying the traffic light and paying taxes. Otherwise, I have to go to jail and or lose my license, as the case may be. Everything else, I really don't care. Most of the people are like that. Hardly one thinks, what is my situation? Why am I here? Where am I going to? What is the ultimate goal of life? Nobody even thinks. And, barely somebody will think. And people might have that question. They don't have direct answers. Somebody might say that, you are Brahman, or, the God is impersonal. You have to realize that. You have to perform severe austerities. Then, at one stage, coming on to that platform, you come to jnana that, okay, I'm spiritual, God is also spiritual, He's impersonal. And then, if that satisfaction doesn't come, you perform dhyana, you take on to then you come to the conclusion, oh, God is just not impersonal, but He's also Paramatma. He is situated within every one of us, and He is this personal form that is situated. And then beyond that, if you ever have that good fortune, then you come to the conclusion, the absolute truth actually is two-handed form. And He's a person like you and me. It takes to the stage of that intense realization. Then you come, oh, okay, God is Vishnu, and I should go back to Vaikuntha. That is the goal of my life. And that to get rid of this material existence is what my goal of life, that is the true gain or positive benefit born as a human. But we are even going much beyond that. The pure devotional service is so far beyond liberation that we are in a position of being very intimate with that Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that is what is love of Godhead, and that is what is pure devotional service. So when we are sitting here in Silicon Valley on a Sunday afternoon, it may seem this pure devotional service seems some sort of fantasy, some sort of mythical, unachievable, unrealistic goal of life. And in one sense, you are correct. It is impossible to get Krishna. And we will come to that in the class, why it is. But it is impossible to get Krishna. Forget having face-to-face relationship with Him. Forget playing with Him. Forget enjoying Him as a lover. And so on and so forth. But this is precisely what we are trying to obtain. And if we don't have that goal in life, if we don't have the loftiness and the highest possible goal in spiritual life, then, our chanting will become slack. Our devotional, what is this? The same thing I'm doing every day. It's the same thing happening, same prasad is there. After I'm prasad also, it's the same prasad. It's a little bland. Thoda spice chahiye. Meaning Lokabandhu Prabhu, it means like after some time I need some spice in my prasad. I don't want bland. So, that's what I was trying to say. Sorry. Sometimes I break into Hindi, just you put me on track, okay? All right. But if you have that goal and to see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give that ultimate love of Godhead, which is an extremely elevated thing. It is not by any stretch of imagination. On one level, we have been taught chanting Hare Krishna, the life is easy and sublime, quickly. In one sense, yes, quickly is a very relative term. Bhagavatam says that 284, it says, Shrinvatam Shraddhaya Nityam Grinatas Cha Svacheshtitam Kalena Nati Dirgena Bhagavan Vishate Hridi. So it says that those who are persons who are hearing Srimad Bhagavatam regularly and always taking this matter very seriously will have personality of Godhead Sri Krishna manifested in their hearts within that short time is pretty relative. Let's not have any illusions about the short time, because let's put some perspective. How many years are there in Kali Yuga? Just Kali Yuga. 432,000 years. And then Satya, Treta, Dwapar and Kali, they constitute how much? Into 10. 4,300,000 kind of thing. That is one Divya Yuga. In one day of Brahma, you have 1,000 Divya Yugas like that. One day of Brahma, 14 Manus come and go. And so 1,000 is 430 million years, just constitutes one day of Brahma. And same is the duration of one night. And Brahma lives for such 100 years. Ooh. So 311 trillion and 420 billion years is life of Brahma. Imagine if you have to live in Silicon Valley and pay medical insurance for that much time. But you know what? 311 trillion 420 billion years constitutes one exhalation and inhalation of Lord Vishnu. So short time is a pretty relative term. The point I'm trying to make is, one shouldn't expect Krishna. I have been doing chanting for 10 years now. I still don't get bhav. The only time the hair stands on end is when my boss asks for status reports. Or when my car was in an accident and I was wondering what my spouse would say. God forbid, everybody don't get into an accident. But it's relative. So my point here is, then you might say, great. You called us on a Sunday afternoon just to dash hopes, just to douse cold water on our aspirations of bhakti. What's your point then? Why did you even... If you audience can permit, let's go a little bit deeper into the subject matter. Okay, let's go to chapter 1. So this is my humble request. I beg you, for the next class, please read chapters 2, 3 and 4. Today we will discuss chapter 1. But we are supposed to be discussing chapters 2, 3 and 4 today. I humbly request next time you read it, we'll have fun. I don't want to scare you by saying that I'm going to spring a surprise test on you. Because if I say it, then I'll be speaking to the walls and the deities in next class. Everybody will say, there is something called online, let me make use of it. But having said that, please read. We'll have more interactive session next time. Sachinandan Hari Prabhu.
The Jnana and Karma. So Jnana is referred to the dry speculative knowledge or the knowledge about like Krishna also, because we are taking Jnana over here.
Yes.
That is also Jnana.
Nice point.
That is one thing.
Thank you. Yeah.
One more thing, like the Jnana is also one of the hindrances, like opulence of Krishna in the Uttama Bhakti, or so that it is referring to that jnana also, like the opulence about Vishnu or Krishna.
I see. Thank you. So did everybody get the question? So one of the things we said is that our pure devotional service should be bereft of jnana and karma. Means it should be devoid of having this fruitive mentality. So one point is jnana, karma, anavritam. The word is, my bhakti is coated with jnana or karma. I do bhakti, but my ulterior motive is either jnana or karma. It shouldn't be that. The second thing is jnana. You're saying it shouldn't be jnana. Then why are we reading books? Why are you kind of giving us exams? Isn't it again pure devotional service? Why did Prabhupada write books? Why did Rupa Goswami write book to say that it shouldn't be in jnana? Right? Does it make sense or sense? On one hand, you should say no jnana, but Rupa Goswami actually wrote a book to give us jnana, and in which he said you shouldn't have jnana. So logically, the answer would be that our jnana is not the jnana of the impersonal liberation, because their path of reaching is not bhakti. For the impersonalists or the monists, their path is jnana. I want jnana. Bhakti is a means to get jnana. Initially, I'll worship all sorts of deities. I'll worship all sorts of pujas and rituals. But my goal is to get jnana, Brahma jnana. And what is the result of that Brahma jnana? If I become perfect in Brahma jnana, then I'll realize that God is Brahman, eternal. I'll be situated in that, and He'll be... So, but there is the problem with that kind of thinking. But you might say, why not? I'll give you another argument. What does Bhagavatam say about Krishna? Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdyate. So Krishna is also Brahman. And what's wrong in kind of describing that, about Brahma Gyan? Why are you saying, is Krishna also not Brahman? Yes, he is. But the problem comes is, please understand, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is talking exclusively about rasa, or that mellow of relationship with Krishna. Brahma Jnana, or me impersonal, God is impersonal, really doesn't constitute the exchange of rasa. And that is our goal of life. So, while Krishna is Brahman, for the sake of rasa topics, we exclusively focus on that two-handed form of Krishna who is playing flute and who has perfectly capable of enjoying and reciprocating the rasas with his devotees. One of the other questions, why is not Lord Vishnu there in our temples? Why only exclusively Radha Krishna? What is your purpose? Is not Vishnu God? In fact, Rupa Goswami says there is no difference between Vishnu and Krishna. Because they are one, they are Vishnu Tattva. But for the specific sake of rasa, we worship the Shyam Sundar form of Lord. Because Vishnu is in the official position. He is not, you can't go to Vaikuntha and say that, I want Vishnu to be my lover. They'll say, get out of here. In fact, 4 Kumaras, actually, they were denied entrance into Vaikuntha because they didn't have proper attire. You didn't even have clothes, dude. It's like, going to a White House party and then you're going in the, for keeping it decent. You're going in shorts and some banyan and some flip-flops. Sauntering to the White House. Let me in. They didn't have clothes. And Jay and Vijay said, look at you kids. You are running around in your birthday suits, for heaven's sake. And you want to go to Vaikuntha, where Lord has to be worshipped this way. He has to be offered these prayers. He has to be given this kind of thing. It's a very royal treatment. So, there is no difference between Vishnu and Krishna. But Krishna in Vrindavan is the summit of the rasa. And this book is about rasa, so that's why we focus on Krishna. And that's why Gaudiya Vaishnavas, want to establish that rasa with Krishna. And that's the goal. And then the book tells you, it's not like, again, what do you say, some emotional stuff. No, there are ways, there is process, there is sadhana, then then there is raganuga, and then ragatmika bhakta, and then bhava, then prema. So there is a process also. It's not like but for those who are beginning, now that we are here, I did mention a little bit. I'll give the gist of the first 19 chapters that we are going to read. So the first 16 chapters exclusively deal with sadhana, how to approach a spiritual master. What are the 5 items of devotional service? Remember 5 items of devotional service. Very easy to remember. A, B, C, D, E. Everybody, okay. A, association of devotees. B, Bhagavatam. Specifically reading Srimad Bhagavatam. B, it's mnemonic to remember. You might never know. You never know, what can happen in exam. Might be, might not be. B is Bhagavatam. C is chanting. D is deity worship. E is entering Vrindavan. Actually, V is residing in the holy place or being in the holy dham. But, for the sake of A, B, C, D, E, we said entering Vrindavan. No, actually, Rupa Goswami says that if you have attachment or even the slightest shadow of attachment to any of these 5 processes, then you can easily go back or achieve love of Godhead. I know the next question that is coming. If I have attachment for any of these processes, why am I being asked to chant 16 rounds? Why not read Bhagavatam or do deity worship? For that, you have to come to the class. If I tell everything right now, then you will say, I'll see you at exam. Which is not a bad thing, because I can also take a break. Yes, Sirisha Mataji. Avritam means to be covered. Isha vasyam idam sarvam yat kincha jagat. Oh, Isha avasyam. Avasyam also is covered. Avritam means covered. Anavritam means uncovered. Or my bhakti shouldn't be covered with these motives. I am doing bhakti, but my ulterior motive is jnana and karma. You should be uncovered with that. Bhakti is pure. Bhakti is in of itself the means and the goal. Is that clear? Okay. Nice. Yes. Yes. Excellent. Thank you. So let's take chapter 1. All right. So, please, these are all like primary foundation. Characteristics of pure devotional service is the chapter. There are 6 characteristics of pure devotional service. Or the 6, how do you say 6 defining qualities of pure devotional service. Let's do that. The first characteristics of pure devotional service is, if you come down a little bit. All right. Lokabandhu Prabhu, you read 3. Natalie, you read the next 3.
Pure devotional service brings immediate relief from all kinds of material distress.
3. Yeah.
Pure devotional service is the beginning of all auspiciousness. Pure devotional service automatically puts one in transcendental pleasure.
Thank you.
Pure devotional service is rarely achieved. Those in pure devotional service deride even the conception of liberation, and pure devotional service is the only means to attract Krishna.
Thank you. So the first quality is pure devotional service is the beginning, brings immediate relief. So that is your return of investment. When I talked earlier of, it's that hearing and chanting about Krishna, takes a while before Krishna kind of agrees. Because please understand, when I say love of Godhead, right? You agree it's a two-way traffic, right? If shall I pick on someone? Tejas, is that okay? Okay. Don't get me wrong, okay? If some person comes to Tejas and says that, I really love you, and the Tejas is like not so much inclined, and after some time, if that sentiment is kind of strongly emphasized to him, then he will call 911. There is a stalker right here. Yes or yes? When we talk of love of Krishna, I love Krishna, but should Krishna also love you or not? Or is it a one-way traffic? So, the reason why, okay, that is one aspect to it. But the second aspect is that pure devotional service brings immediate relief from distress. And it is mentioned why a person gets distress. Just a quick question. Why does a person suffer distress? Material desires, thank you. Yes.
Because something can be taken away.
Something to be, sorry, can you elaborate, please?
Was the question, why does material life cause distress?
Yeah, why does a person suffer distress?
Because something can be taken away.
Something could be taken. Oh, you mean I have attachment to something that could be taken away and that causes. Okay, good. Anything else? Yes. Past karmas. So our past sinful life, that can cause distress. Right? We don't know. Our activities are being carefully recorded for posterity. And when we will have to enjoy the fruits of our activities, that is, Krishna will decide. So, sins, there are 4 kinds of sins. One sin is called prarabdha, means which is already mature and which a person is undergoing. A prarabdha is the activity has been noted and recorded, and the credit or debit will be given in future. That is a prarabdha. Kutam and bijam. Kutam means the tendency for proclivity or tendency for performing sinful acts. And then bijam means about to perform. It's in the seed form, but when you see in the seed form it comes about, then you can see that it's going to come about. So there are 4 kinds of sinful acts, and that can cause distress. Here, Rupa Goswami actually takes, the other point he says is the sinful life can be caused by 3 reasons. One is ignorance. If a person is ignorant, I'll give a simple example. A person comes from, pick a country. And Canada, thank you. Person comes from Canada. And then he really doesn't know, or she doesn't know the due date for taxes in US is April 15th. In Canada, it is December 15th. Or it's whenever you can. I don't know the rules of Canada, but he comes, and then April 15th is gone, and the government is going to give him a big penalty. Oh, what happened? Well, you are in US now, and then there is a tax deadline. Because of the ignorance, you are suffering a penalty or possible imprisonment based on how much your tax liability is. Yes or yes? So similarly, most of the sinful activities are performed under ignorance. And ignorance means, I am the enjoyer, I am the controller, this whole world is meant for. And when you act under that mentality, then it's obvious one commits a lot of sinful activities. And so ignorance is the cause of sinful activities, Rupa Goswami says. But by performing pure devotional service, ignorance is automatically destroyed. And if you can see this particular, is everybody able to get the train of thought on what I'm trying to say? Rupa Goswami is going to take or quote from Srimad Bhagavatam And saying each of these things, he'll prove from Bhagavatam that pure devotional service is going to destroy this immediately. So just by making a vow that, oh Krishna, I want to be your pure devotee, I'm going to save myself so much of trouble that can be caused from sinful activities. It brings immediate relief. Well, if you ask a prisoner, is your selfish motive to get out of the prison? Isn't that your desire to get out of prison is a very selfish motive? Of course, you'll say yes. Because either I live here, better to kind of have that quote-unquote selfish motive to get out of this material existence rather than rot in this material world forever and cause harm to you and others, right? Now, we need to get out. On that note, there is no question of... we jivas, we are either dependent on Krishna or we are entrapped by Maya. We don't have much choices. We need shelter. We cannot live without shelter. And that shelter is Maya or my own false ego, or my shelter is Krishna. So you pick and choose. There is multiple choices, A, B. There is no C. Absolutely, we should have that. We should have that. In fact, Krishna, here he says, Krishna says, those who make me the goal of their life, they are very dear to me. Yes or yes? In Bhagavad Gita, does he say that? Then if my goal is Krishna, then according to Krishna, it is a perfect thing to do. Actually, you know what? It's an interesting thing you bring up. As long as Krishna is happy that I am selfish about him, I'll be selfish. Right? Because ultimately, to satisfy Krishna is the goal of my life, and he is happy by... Yeah. Okay. So, the way Rupa Goswami writes Nectar of Devotion is that he will bring out these 6 qualities of pure devotion service. He lists them. Then he uses Bhagavatam. Each quotation from Bhagavatam, when you see Bhagavatam verses in Nectar of Devotion, they give you an entirely different light on Bhagavatam. We read stories from Bhagavatam. A story goes by, it really doesn't make much significance. But when you hear the same verse quoted in Nectar of Devotion about how powerful is pure devotion and how effective it is, then Bhagavatam is seen completely in a different light. So, if for those who are really interested, they can keep track of the verses which are being quoted from Bhagavatam. And then, you can get through the compendium and can see, wow, it's a whole other light. Okay, a simple thing. Did anybody hear about the words, Aho batasva pachato gariyan? Okay, we can bring it up. It's 3:25. Let's stop at 25. And then we can... And then enter. Control F dog. Control F dog. DOG. Control F. That search code. Yeah. 324. I don't know which one it is. Okay, let's look it up. Let me bring it up. Let me bring it up. Sorry. 3:33:6. My apologies. 3:33:6. Okay, this will work. Kindly repeat after me. Yannamadeya Shravananukirtanad Yat Praharvanad Yat Smaranadapi Kvachit Shvadopi Sadya Savanaya Kalpate Kutah Punaste Bhagavanu Darshana. Can you... So, please, Natwarji, read the translation.
Translation: to say nothing of the spiritual advancement of persons who see the Supreme Person face to face, even a person born in a family of dog-eater immediately becomes eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices if he once utter the holy name of Supreme Personality of Godhead, or chants about him, hears about his pastimes, offers him obeisance, or even remembers him.
Okay, from this verse, what do we understand? The obvious meaning of this verse. Yes, Natalie, please.
That you can come from the lowliest background but still be cleansed by chanting.
Excellent. So it's mentioned that the person born in the family of dog eaters becomes eligible to perform the sacrifices if you hear and chant about Krishna, let alone see him face to face. Is that the meaning of this verse? Okay, good. Now, let's keep that point and then let's go read from Relief, chapter 1, Nectar of Devotion. Kindikrandi, please, Relief. If you come down a little bit, yeah, relief from material distress. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that one should surrender unto Him, giving up all other engagements. The Lord also gives His word that He will protect surrendered souls from the reactions of all sinful activities. Srila Rupa Goswami says that distresses from sinful activities are due to both the sins themselves and the sins committed in the past life. Generally, one commits sinful activities due to ignorance, but ignorance is no excuse for evading the reactions, sinful activities. All right, please read the whole paragraph, Prabhuji. Yes, go for it.
Sinful activities are of two kinds, those which are mature and those which are not mature. The sinful activities for which we are suffering at the present moment are called mature. The many sinful activities stored within us for which we have not yet suffered are considered immature. For example, a man may have committed criminal acts but not yet been arrested for them. Now, as soon as he is detected, arrest is awaiting him. Similarly, for some of our sinful activities, we are awaiting distresses in the future, and for others which are mature, we are suffering at the present moment.
So, the problem is, when I commit a sinful activity, right, then not only the activity is recorded and the result will be given in future, but also there is a tendency that is deposited back again. If I rob something, I may be awaiting arrest, but that success of robbery will make me want for more quote-unquote blood. Yes or yes? So you see, it's that tendency is still there. So go ahead. Next, Sachinandan Hari Prabhu.
In this way, there is a chain of sinful activities and their concomitant distresses, and the conditional soul is suffering life after life due to these sins. He is suffering in the present life the result of sinful activities from the past life, and he is meanwhile creating further sufferings for his future life. Mature sinful activities are exhibited if one is suffering from some chronic disease, if one is suffering from some legal implication, if one is born in a low and degraded family, or if one is uneducated or very ugly.
So in the earlier verse, let me draw your attention to the earlier verse. The person born in the family of dog eaters becomes eligible to perform sacrifices and becomes purified if you chant and hear about Krishna. Yes or yes? That was the statement that was made. Now, how pure devotional service can destroy the prarabdha karma is that because that person had committed sinful activities, he was born in the family of dog eaters. By taking up to hearing and chanting, he is cleansed of that contamination of being born in the family of dog eaters, and is able to perform sacrifices. Am I making sense? So Rupa Goswami is using this verse to say that even the person who is born in the family of dog eater is suffering from the reactions right now because it's obvious that he's born in a low class family. And pure devotional service is just capable of destroying that. There is one school of thought that says devotion to Vishnu can never destroy the present reactions. The ones that I'm suffering right now, that can never be destroyed. That you still have to undergo no matter what. The past will be done and the sinful tendencies will be done. But that we don't agree. Even you are born in the family of dog eater, your sins are still destroyed. So that is one example. Rupa Goswami says that prarabdha is destroyed. And then, we can go ahead a little bit more. Tejas, read the next, please. Yes, Yashoda Kripa Prabhu.
So, Prabhu, Haribol, on that same topic, devotees undergo different difficulties in life, challenges and troubles, and then we say it's because of past karma. So, the other school of thought that you mentioned says no matter what, you still have to undergo those difficulties because the reaction of those karma. On the other side says the reaction is destroyed immediately. So how does it explain why devotees go through the reaction of their karma if the other school of thought is wrong?
Did everybody get the question? Krishna destroys the karma completely. There are two criteria here. When does the immediate destruction of karma happen? When you are performing pure devotional service, or when your aspiration is nothing else except pure devotional service. There are two kinds of pure devotees. Those who are already on that platform, those whose only motive in life is to render pure devotional service. There are two kinds of devotees. Now, when you do that, Krishna will take your karma and completely destroy it. But the problem is, if he destroys it to the extent that you don't feel it, then you might become slacken in pure devotional service to Krishna. So Krishna might choose not to destroy it completely then and there. He might actually give you a little residual effects of that karma. Not the full-blown karma. Just to give you that impetus to take more and more shelter of him. The Pandavas actually were sinless. They had absolutely, Arjuna was actually an eternal associate of the Lord. Bhagavatam, it is so clearly mentioned that the same sage, Nara and Narayana, have now appeared as Krishna and Arjuna. Now, you can argue till the cows come home on that point, but let's not, because the cows are not coming home. If Arjuna was an eternally liberated servant of Krishna, how did he suffer so many tribulations? Bhishma at the exact same point, on his deathbed. In the first canto of 9th chapter, how you are the emblem of dharma. You've been the most righteous people. And how yet is it that you have to suffer so many tribulations? And then Bhishma says, it's only the time factor that Krishna has ordained this on you. So if devotees of the caliber of Arjuna have to undergo some sort of purification by the Lord, then what to speak of us? Point number one. Point number two is, what is the attitude on the devotees on which these troubles are being imposed? Queen Kunti, she said, Vipatuta Shantuta Saswat, Tatra Tatra Jagadguru, Bhavato Darshanam Yatsyat, Apunar Bhava Darshanam. He says, let these calamities come upon and again, because we can see Krishna again and again. So if you see, the calamities in the eyes of the devotees are not exactly calamities in the modern context or a person's conditioned soul's concept. So is that helpful? Yeah, because it's like, yeah, it's like, I can give a good example, but when we have different president, then I can think of it. But anyways. Yes, Ankurji, 1 minute. I'll come to you. So that is kind of thing. It might not be apparent. The thing is, in the neophyte stage, just think about it, right? In the neophyte stage, you are burning in the fire of material existence. And you take shelter of Krishna, I become a pure devotional service. And you say, I am going to be a pure devotee, and that's my desire. And immediately Krishna destroys everything, and the life is rosy. Every day, your wife is so happy and smiling and cooking the best of all your meals, or your husband is just giving you everything that you want, and your mother-in-law is so nice with you, you are actually shocked for a bit, and then your boss is saying, that's okay, you can come couple of hours a day, and then I'll give you double the salary. And the company said, look, I'll buy a house for you, and then it is all possible in pure devotional service realm. But think about it. Had this happens, how much will you remember Krishna? Maya is so strong, it will immediately overpower you. Therefore, devotees also, they'll say to Krishna, please don't give us so much that we'll forget you. Krishna can destroy that karma and make life perfectly happy, but he wants to come back as soon as we can, and to destroy that last vestige of karma, he will personally take charge of the devotees. And that can be, from the devotee's perspective, my own karmic reactions. Of course, it also depends on how deep, how sincere, and how surrendered the devotee is. I maintained 20 different desires in my heart, and I said to Krishna, I surrender once. Somehow I was told, and I said once, somehow I said it. No, he has to do it. It doesn't work that way. Because please understand, Krishna is not obligated. He is the only personality in the entire existence who is not obligated. Janmadyasya yatonvayat itaratas charteshva abhijñas swarat. Krishna is swarat, which means he is independent. He has no obligation to fulfill. He has no contractual binding to honor. He has nothing to adhere to. It is his own sweet will that he gives his mercy. But the Lord is so sweet, just to render pure devotional service itself brings such joy in the heart. What to speak of the perfection of pure devotional service when you are situated on the love of Godhead. So don't ever for a minute think that the path we are is, might work, might not work. I've been chanting for so many rounds. My heart is still black, my head is still hot. It will come down in time. Ankurji, sorry for the long-winded answer. Yashoda Kripa Prabhu. All right.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
What is the relationship between Bhakti Devi and Krishna? The source of this question I am coming from is the question that Prabhuji asked. It led you to answer in the way that Krishna, if he wants, he can destroy, etc. So we are talking about devotional service, which is Bhakti Devi, but you're also mentioning Krishna will destroy. So that led me to think, what is the relationship between Bhakti Devi and Krishna? Are they one and the same, or what's the relationship? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Krishna and his energies are inseparable. I was just thinking about it. When you go to somebody's house, for example, a devotee's house, and then you go there, and come, I'll give you some prasad. He'll say, please come home, I'll give you prasad. And then you go to their home, and then initially you have some katha, right? Some Bhagavad katha, something like that, and you have some chanting. It goes on for you reach their home at 11, and you say, okay, 1 hour, 2 hours. So the katha happens, starts, 1 hour gone, 2 hour gone, 5 hours. At 4 o'clock, you're really, really hungry. You're focused more on the parts of the Bhagavatam or Chaitanya Charitamrita where the food descriptions are there rather than the actual katha. Then you'll ask your host, look, I'm a little hungry. You said you'll give prasad. what happened? Oh, I am giving prasad. You are a spirit soul. I am feeding you spiritual prasad. So when I go in the conditioned state, I go along with my body, which is the external energy, but nevertheless it's inseparable from me at this point of time. But with Krishna, all his energies are inseparable at any point of time. So while Bhakti Devi can have the authority on behalf of Krishna, ultimately it is Krishna. But in devotional service, when we come on the Rasa Tattva, Krishna becomes subordinate. He loses his sense of being the one. In fact, he becomes the one among many. And bhakti, it is, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says in Vrindavan Leela, when Krishna, the cowherd boys, so there is the Lord, there is the Bhakta, and there is the Bhakti Devi in between. And when they have these pastimes, it's such a wonderful rasa that nobody knows who is on the top. Sometimes it seems, really, think about it. Krishna was enjoying picnic with his friends, and they will say, we will enter into the mouth of Aghasura. And before Krishna could warn them, all his friends have entered into the mouth of Aghasura. Krishna was, yeah, I know. What is this Aghasura? I can take care. He didn't have a smirk or smile or a confidence on his face. He was, oh, my friends, they have gone inside. I don't know what to do now. Oh, my Lord, what happened? And you will for a minute think, is that the Supreme Personality of Godhead? A small snake just ate 2 or 3 of his friends. Please understand, he has unlimited number of friends. And snake Aghasura was big, no doubt. But compared to him, how big? Insignificant. But so, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes that, God himself forgets his own supremacy in rasa. And then the Bhakti Devi, sometimes Vrinda Devi takes over, sometimes his friends take over, sometimes he takes over. And then in that rasa, the Lord is completely absorbed. But always, he becomes a supreme when he becomes aware of his opulence. Sometimes, then, all others, oh, the Lord desire is there, we all are his energies, and then we become subordinate. But that awareness is very far and few in Vrindavan, if that. But in other places, he's supremely aware. And that's why here the statements that, the sun blows out of fear of the Supreme Lord, the wind blows, so all these things are there, but in rasa, the Lord becomes subordinate. It's the sweetness of rasa. Is that helpful a little bit? But it's a vast topic, but I'm just giving you a small gist. Thank you. Okay, Sirisha Mataji, yes.
Prabhuji, pure devotional service means not expecting any fruit activities, just pure devotional service.
Yeah.
What is devotional service means? We can expect some fruit activity.
Yeah.
So, Prabhuji, my question is, how do we know that Krishna will accept us while we are doing pure devotional service? And my extension question is initiated devotee, non-initiated devotees do pure devotional service, will Krishna accept? What is the I read in the introduction part, Prabhupada says that about initiation, it connects to the God with spiritual master. So in sadhana stage, we do some devotional service without expecting any fruit activities. Is it comes to pure devotional service?
So when we talk of pure devotional service, we are doing activities which are favorable to Krishna. But the biggest question, as you rightly pointed out, how do you know Krishna is happy? And that is a very tough question to answer. Because even in Bhagavatam, he apparently seems to be really upset, even though his pure devotees are around. And he seems to be happy when he's fighting with demons. When Varaha was fighting with Hiranyaksha, and he was really enjoying it, and there was a smile. It seems that God is really happy. And then when Mother Yashoda put him aside on the floor to tend to the milk on the cow, the milk on the stove, then he became really angry. His eyes became red and he bit his lip. So it is hard to know when Krishna is happy and when he is not. So the pure devotional service, that's the reason why Rupa Goswami recommends that one approach a spiritual master and take initiation. Because it is mentioned that if the spiritual master is pleased, then it is understood that Krishna is pleased. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado. Yasya prasadan nagati kutopi. That's the reason why we approach the spiritual master. That is one aspect of it. The second aspect of it is sadhana bhakti, which takes a long time, happens under obedience of the spiritual master. See, if you don't have spiritual master, hey, why 16 rounds? I'll make up the rule 8 rounds. Is Krishna less happy? Or is he so greedy that only 16 rounds will work with him? So you see that there has to be some discipline that comes in when you accept the spiritual master and when you abide by the rules and regulations. You might not be able to do it perfectly. Please don't, that kind of, oh my God, spiritual master initiation for life, I'm stuck, I won't be able to chant so many rounds, I might not. What is this going on? Let's kind of not take initiation. This is too much. Even though you are imperfect, the fact that you are approaching a spiritual master means indirectly you are saying to Krishna, Krishna, I am willing to be surrendered to a personality who is your representative. Please send me a proper representative. It is mentioned that, if you, for a spiritual master, sometimes you really don't know whom you have to take initiation from. And it can be a big question to many, many people who have not yet taken or who have not yet decided. So the best approach is, Krishna, I want to be your pure devotee. I want to render favorable service unto you. But since I really don't know you and nobody can properly know you, then send me a proper personality who is your representative on this earth, to whom I can actually take initiation from and, progress in spiritual life. And then if you are sincere, Krishna will kind of give signs and you will get the notice that, okay, this personality is what it is. And then by mercy of Krishna, you get Guru, and by mercy of Guru, you get. So is that helpful? Yeah. Otherwise, the problem, if you don't take initiation, then your mind will start dictating. Your mind will become your Guru. And you don't want your mind to be your Guru. Bad Guru. There is nothing like bad Guru, but anyways, sorry. Other questions, comments? We still are not, we've done only one item of the 6 items. Even in the one item also, we have just come how prarabdha is destroyed by devotional service. That's, if you read little more, then we can have more of question and answers. So, I humbly request. Next class, please. I promise you, I am not going to embarrass you, but please read and come. We'll make it more interactive, question and answer style. All right. So, if you can go, you get the idea. Rupa Goswami takes a principle and he quotes from Bhagavatam saying that how pure devotional service destroys it. There is another verse. Aprarabdha phalam papam kutam bijam phalonmukam kramenaiva praliyeta Vishnu bhakti ratakman. It is said that there is 4 types of sinful activities. Aprarabdha, which is immature. Prarabdha, which is mature. Then kutam is sinful tendencies. And bijam is almost ready to kind of fructify. So I'll give a simple example. A person wants to rob a bank. That is what is called kutam. The tendency is there. Then, you just can't walk into the bank and rob it, is it? Don't try it at home, please. You have to have a lot of planning, you have to get the blueprints of the bank, and you have to find out what the weak points of the bank are, what is the security system, how to hack it, and more importantly, where the gold is. Right? You do all this stuff and you don't know where the gold is in the bank. What's your point? So you do all that activities, and that is kind of bijam. It's almost ready. Now the plans are done, you have done everything ready, and then you are ready to rob the bank. So that is bijam, seeds, ready. And then, a prarabdha is You rob the bank, you have to take a lot of sleeping pills at night to reduce the worry. And if you are an intoxicating person, you have to really drink a bottle of liquor every night to forget the worries and take sleeping pills and sleep. Because if you rob a bank, obviously you can never sleep at night. Because half the time you are worried, where will my money go? The other half you are worried, when will the police catch me? So that is aprarabdha. And then prarabdha means one fine morning. Right? There is a knock on the door, or your door is being broken down and people seem to be entering with helmets and so on and so forth. That is prarabdha. Now, try to think about it. It's sinful life is distressful at every step, almost at every step. You know, if you have that tendency to rob the bank, it's not you'll make a Facebook announcement, right? Hey, I'm going to rob the bank on so and so. You have to keep secret. Nobody should know. And then when you are making plans, then you have to keep it secret. You are still in anxiety. And then when you actually rob the bank, you are, of course, in anxiety. And when you are caught, you are still in anxiety. So sinful life is distressful at every step. Pure devotional service is happy at every step. Right? So that is, the pure devotional service automatically destroys all the 4 types of sinful reactions. And you will, because other types of thing, Maharaj Parikshit asks in the 6th canto, he asks Sukadeva Goswami, that how can one overcome the sinful reactions? You know, people have performed sinful reactions. That is something which is, I don't even know what I performed in my last time. Forget last time. 5 years ago, did I do any sinful reactions? Yeah, I really don't know. Yes or yes? Unless you are having the, what is that, eidetic memory? Photographic memory, right? Eidetic memory, yeah. Unless you are having eidetic memory. Which is, eidetic memory is that those people, it seems, they remember pretty much everything. Their whole life, right from the time they were aware, every single day, every single moment of your life is recorded and remembered, and you can recollect it. We all go through that, but we cannot recollect or record. So what to speak of sinful reactions in the past life? So it's better to take to devotional service. And then, you know, that kind of destroys all the sinful reactions. So Maharaj Parikshit asked Sukadeva Goswami, what should we do? Prayashchita. He says, you can do these kinds of prayashchita. You should do this. Maharaj Parikshit says that's not, what you said is not good. Because how many times people go to the church and confess their sins? I'm a bad person. And the next week again they come back with the same problem. He says that tendency to do sinful reaction is still there in the heart, but pure devotional service is so strong that it will destroy everything. Yes, Natalie? Mataji.
So I have a question relating to that. So let's say, for example, somebody is suffering from, in this particular life, from alcoholism, and they can't give it up. But then, there are people who go through like a 12-step program, and then they're able to get rid of this stuff the tendency. I don't know if they can get rid of it completely. But the question is that also just based in a product of their karma, that it's like it just happened to be in this lifetime that they had to suffer through that, and then all of a sudden something happened, and now they don't have to suffer. Like, what's the difference between like needing to chant in order to get rid of a tendency, and then like just having the tendency without? Does this question? Yeah.
So why do somebody abuse alcohol, for example, in this life? Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that based on the modes I have acquired in my past life, this life I act from there. So more likely than not, there is that tendency from the past life that is still sitting in the subtle consciousness that I do it in this life. So that could be one primary reason why a person, tends to kind of be an alcoholic, for example. But the beauty is, in the human form of life, we have the capacity or the power to change. We have the power or the determination to say, I can be a better person. And I don't want to be stuck in the mode of ignorance, but I want to move into mode of passion or goodness. So that tendency is there in human being. So but the problem is, alcohol completely destroys your determination. So, but when you are in the association of, for example, AA, where it is more of in the mode of goodness or passion, then you can, through that association, drag yourself out from where you are through the strength of that, group power. But having said that, when you are back on your own, you are with your mind, which is associated with mode of ignorance, and that can drag you back at any time. That's why the relapses, and that's why people might fall back into. But pure devotional service is so great that just by following it a little bit, then you will realize this is meaningless. Even to actually imbibe alcohol is meaningless. So why even do it? Because there is a much higher taste that is there. So pure devotional service gives that firm push of that desire from the core of your heart. Whereas other processes might not be the same effective way to do stuff. Yes. That's why it's a one-way traffic. And Rupa Goswami actually writes it in the Nectar of Devotion in a very negative way. That if you want to remain happy and content in the company of your family, in the company of your friends, in the company of your society and wealth, then don't ever go to the bank of Yamuna and see that boy Govinda who is playing flute on his hand. Don't even think about it. Because if you do that, everything else, that is Krishna. Hey, who doesn't love him? All right. Do you need a break? Please, I realize that. So, if you want, it's 2:30 now. Should we even continue, or should we stop here and you read 2, 3, 4 and then come back next time? I'm perfectly fine with that. 5 minutes? All right. We'll see you at 2:35. 7 minutes, right? Yeah. Stretch. Drink water. Do whatever you need to. Don't gather any weapons, please. I don't have protective gear on me. All right, 2:28, yeah, 2:35 we'll meet. Oh, if anybody does not have Nectar of Devotion, the last copy. Thank you. Prabhuji, is the waves of devotion is same like introduction, like first chapter, so we can relate and read the same? Sorry, Prabhuji.
They can take it later on also.
So let's go to the second part, the 6 qualities of pure devotional service. First one is, what is the first quality? It brings immediate relief from all sorts of distresses, and distresses are because of sinful reactions, and pure devotional service destroys. And then the second thing is, Krishna consciousness is all auspicious. And here, this is important. Srila Rupa Goswami has given the definition of auspiciousness. He says that actual auspiciousness means welfare activities for all the people of the world. And then if you go down a little bit, then we talk at length of what this particular, let me look it up, 1 minute. So it's all auspicious, and it means welfare for all, and it is pleasing to all. So the example that is given there is the famous verse 5:18-12. And if you come down a little bit, you can see here, right? So it's welfare activities for all, and it's pleasing for all. And Srila Prabhupada writes that even for the animals also, it's pleasing, because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he went to Jharikanda forest, he showed that, this is... And so the other thing is, it develops good qualities. Auspiciousness means one develops good qualities by performing pure devotional service. And how that is done is mentioned here. If you come down a little bit. So this is the famous verse. Yeah, somebody from the last, please read, either Ankur or Sanket or the translation. Oh, okay, actually, you know what? Let's go read that verse. Anybody? It's a very famous verse. Many places. Please repeat after me. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavatya kinchana sarvair gunaistatra samasate suraha harava bhaktasya kuto mahadguna manoratena satidavato bahihi. Yeah, translation, please.
All the demigods and their exalted qualities, such as religion, knowledge, and renunciation, become manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva. On the other hand, a person devoid of devotional service and engaged in material activities has no good qualities. Even if he is adept at the practice of mystic yoga or honest endeavor of maintaining his family and relatives, he must be driven by his own mental speculations and must engage in the service of Lord's external energy. How can there be any good qualities in such a man?
So, nothing to beat up or nothing to deny the goodness that exists in the people of the world, but it is actually driven by their own mental concoction. Tejas, I'm sorry, I'm going to pick on you. But he can tell that so many people may be seeming to be nice at a school externally, but when push comes to shove, it is each for himself, yes or yes. And I can do anything to kind of, get ahead of you or whatever be the case, right? Externally, they may be really nice, sweet, yes or yes, most of the times. But the steady character or the steady strength of good qualities or long-lasting qualities comes when one takes to pure devotional service. So if you mention that pure devotional service is all auspicious, it has 3 qualities. First quality is, it is activities welfare for all. It is attractive to all, and then you develop extremely good qualities or internal development. So those are the 3 qualities that are mentioned as qualities or auspicious aspects of pure devotional service. Srila Prabhupada, he splits it up into 3 chapters. or 3 paragraphs, sorry. Right? So that is Krishna consciousness is all auspicious. The third is happiness in Krishna consciousness. If you go down a little bit, this is here. I'll just read the first paragraph. Srila Rupa Goswami has analyzed different sources of happiness. He has divided happiness into 3 categories, which are: 1, the happiness derived from material enjoyment; B, happiness derived by identifying with oneself with Brahman; and C is happiness derived from Krishna consciousness or pure devotional service. So, happiness from sense gratification. Anybody can think of a verse that might refute or might give how much happiness you get, relatively speaking. Bhagavad Gita verse. No, in material sense gratification. So let's look up the verse 522 from Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, exactly the same. 522. So here Krishna says, Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yona evate adyantavantu kaunteya nate shramate buddha. He says that an intelligent person does not take part in the sources of miseries which are due to contact with material senses, O son of Kunti. Such pleasures have beginning and an end, so the wise man doesn't delight in them. So there is happiness here. Krishna is not saying there is no happiness in sense gratification. He says that there is happiness in sense gratification, but it is very small. As long as the sense is in touch with the sense object, your happiness starts. As it ends, the happiness ends. For example, a person might go and watch a movie. The excitement begins from the time, the trailer or the beginning of the movie start. And the excitement is dead when the movie ends. When one returns back to one's, oh my God, I'm back to my regular stuff again. Right? Ironically, the reason you go and see the movie in the first place is to escape your material existence, which might seem a little miserable or boring. I'm so bored, let's go watch movie. So boring is a negative feeling or an unhappy feeling, so you need to avoid that. Or I'm so stressful, let's do something. Or in some cases it could be really a nice movie. But in whatever case, it's temporary. But having said that, on a practical level, I can understand. So don't kind of, Anyway, I'm just taking an example of a movie, but it could be anything. Right? Yeah. Then the happiness from Brahman realization. Happiness from Brahman realization is much, million times more than happiness that comes from sense gratification. Having said that, every perspective has its place. In the beginning stages of Krishna consciousness, we might not, because we are so used to having that sense gratification, to kind of abjectly and abruptly and to an extreme degree renounce every material sense gratification, thinking that it is an induced vomiting. It's what is called. It should be natural. When you do it, when you have induced vomiting, it's still painful. Because when you artificially try to renounce the material world, actually it is mentioned, later we'll come to that. When we are in the gradual progress of Krishna consciousness, there could be many past tendencies that we might occasionally give into, as long as one is not grossly doing any sinful tendencies. But occasionally we may, but eventually we have to pull back. By higher taste of Krishna consciousness, the lower taste should automatically go down, rather than our whole effort is just strenuously trying to stop, to the point that everything will fall apart because we are not trained to in this world. Am I making sense? By no stretch of imagination I'm advocating sense gratification at all, but in a conditioned existence, the reality is it's a little different. And one shouldn't get discouraged. Oh, sense gratification, this is all bogus. Since I'm doing it, look, I'm useless. Let's stop chanting Hare Krishna. It's impractical, it's useless. This is mythical and it is all fantasy. It shouldn't be that. But at the same time, it's okay. It's okay. Krishna will apichet duracharo bhajate mam ananya bhak. I'll keep on doing durachars. That's fine. Or anything abominable. And Krishna will say he's still my devotee. Either way, it's not. We have a genuine, sincere effort to progress in spiritual life against Maya, against material world which is strong, against our own conditioning which is somewhat weak, but we will progress. We will never give up that hope that one day by mercy of Mahaprabhu we will attain that really rarefied and elevated pure devotional service to Krishna. Make sense? Because otherwise reading this nectar of devotion might make us think that we are all a bunch of losers sitting here with practically no hope. But that's not true. If that was true, would Rupa Goswami waste 10 years of his life writing a book for us? It seems he took 10 years almost to write this book. Of course, he was managing temples and doing so many things. Please understand, it's not that they had an office and they had computers and electricity, and Rupa Goswami was living under a different tree every night. They were traveling continuously the forests of Vrindavan. And, they didn't have MacBook Pros to start typing in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu back then. The austerity they had to take, right? Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So their assistants would prepare the palm leaves. They used to write on a palm leaves. They would prepare the palm leaves. And palm leaves doesn't mean that you pick from the tree and start writing on it. You'll get nothing from it. The palm leaf has to be first dried, kept in the sun. Now imagine if you have to keep it in the sun, and then once you write it on the ink, and then you have to keep it on the sun to dry it so that it becomes permanent there on the leaf. So they used to keep the palm leaves like this. And then if you see the book, the palm leaf is opposite, right? It goes like this, like this, like this, if you have a collection. So they would write verse number 1 and verse number 3, and this side became dry, they would write verse number 2 and verse number 4. So when they wrote like that, it will be contiguous. It's not like the material was already there, they had to copy it. It was a deep material, they had to research from Shastras to give proper. So they took so much of pain to write this. The point I'm trying to make is that if we are all misfits and useless candidates for pure devotional service, why would Rupa Goswami waste so much of time writing book for us? So every one of us who is genuinely trying to follow the path of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that's why he's called Mahavadanya, the most munificent. Literally speaking, what did he do? Strictly on a level, did he kill demons? Krishna came, he did so much hard work. Paritranaya sadhanam vinashaya sadushkatam. He had to go around, Mahabharat war, he had to kill demons, so many demons. Right from the beginning, he was full-time engaged in killing demons. Vrindavan, Mathura, and then later at Hastinapur. But Mahaprabhu came. He came only for 48 years. And out of which 24 years he was a sannyasi. Really, what is this Mahavadanya? That Mahavadanya is this love of Godhead. Questions, comments? So the happiness comes from sense gratification, from Brahman realization, and from pure devotional service. And we'll just read a quick thing. I'm looking at the exact words. So somebody can look up the exact number. If all the happiness derived from Brahman realization is compared to an ocean, it wouldn't be even a small fraction of a drop of happiness that is derived from pure devotional service to Krishna. So it's that intense and that, excessively happy that happiness coming from pure devotional service to Krishna. Because Krishna is the source of all rasas. He is the very personification of unlimited happiness. And when you partake in that happiness, then you will be unlimitedly happy. So that is the nature of pure devotional service, or happiness derived from pure devotional service. We'll wrap up last 2 points. Probably we can elaborate a little later. And then the rareness of pure devotional service. The rareness of pure devotional service is that... Is that the rareness? Yeah. No. Rareness. Yeah, rareness of... But the fourth one, Srila Prabhupada actually writes it somewhere here, that happiness, that pure devotional service is so strong that the concept of liberation doesn't seem really much important. I mean, it is... Kapil Dev tells to his mother Devahuti that my devotees not even want the 5 kinds of liberation. Salokya, Sarupya, Sarshti, Samipya, and Sayuja. They don't want that kind of liberation because they just want my service. So now there must be something better than liberation that they don't want it. Otherwise they are fool number 1, right? I mean, so that pure devotional service is even derides the concept of liberation. The 5th one is that pure devotional service is rarely obtained. Why it is rarely obtained? Because please understand that Krishna can give you anything. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But when you talk of pure devotional service, it is Krishna giving himself to you. How that's not an easy thing to obtain, because Krishna is bound, is subordinate to the love and affection of his pure devotees, and he himself is willing to give. Do you think that's easy to get? No. It's rare. The other thing is, the last point there is, pure devotional service is the only means to attract Krishna, which comes up to your point, Ankur Prabhu there. I think where is it mentioned? Attracting Krishna towards the very last. Srila Prabhupada writes somewhere that pure devotional service is even greater than Krishna because it's the internal energy of Krishna and it can attract Krishna. So let me give an example. If I have everything and there is something so rare that I don't have it and I am attracted to it, means that is something really special, or sometimes something even greater than me. Yes or yes? Now, is there anything that Krishna doesn't have? Is there anything Krishna is lacking? Is there anything that Krishna wants that others have? And Srila Prabhupada and the Acharyas writes there is only one thing. Krishna, the whole world is running after Krishna, trying to get Krishna, and Krishna is running after Radharani. So in that sense, Radharani is even more higher than Krishna. She being non-different from Krishna, don't get me wrong. In that internal energy of Krishna, under which the pure devotional service happens, because it attracts Krishna, it is even sometimes regarded as higher than Krishna. It's common knowledge in the household that the child approaches the parent, who is more dominant. Or, so in this case, Radharani can recommend to Krishna, he's a nice devotee or she's a nice devotee, please accept him. And Krishna will have to be obligated to accept. So, one point. There is the first 2 stages, because if that is the case, we should all be jumping with joy, breaking the roof, because we are so happy, right? I mean, why are we not being 100% happy right now? Because Krishna consciousness puts you in the state of unlimited happiness, right? We should be going like rockets. The point is, in the sadhana stage, the first 2 characteristics manifest, which is, it brings immediate relief from all distresses and it's all auspicious. In the bhava stage, the first 4 characteristics are manifest. A person who is in the stage of bhava derives the concept of liberation. In our stage, we might be, maybe liberation seems great. I'm suffering so much in this material world. Maybe I should ask Krishna for liberation. Maybe it's all myth. But when you are on the bhava stage, liberation, nothing. Those 2 items, which is they're rarely achieved, and then rewrites the concepts of liberation, is on the stage of bhava. And on the stage of prema, you get all 6. That it's all Krishna puts you in such a high state of pleasure, and it's the only means to attract Krishna. So that's like the kind of thing. So that's the reason why you don't at this point of time, why is not Krishna coming to my house and having prasadam? I don't personally see him. When you have prema, he will personally come. Is that good? We'll stop here. Then in the next, please, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. 2nd, 3rd, 4th. How many pages are there? Quickly count. Govind Charan Prabhu is not here yet, so we have a few more minutes. I believe that is 19 through 46. 19 through 46. Which is 27 pages. 27 pages by 2 weeks is 1.5 page every day. Doable? Just 1.5 page, not more than that. All right. So the reason is next time it will be more interactive. Otherwise, people will one day, they will say, anyways, I'm so thankful to all of you for so patiently hearing, and I'm deeply grateful that you gave me this chance. And I will see you in 2 weeks' time. Is that okay? Right. Thank you. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha.
Hare Krishna, if you have parked your car in the temple parking lot, please move it. The Sunday school is going to start and the kids need space. I repeat, if you have parked your car in the temple parking lot, please move it outside and the street parking.